You know, I always say I'm going to be simple and take it easy, but this time I think I will. I won't even show my face, real or drawn. Oops, I just did. I'll show you this face, and this face, and this face, and this face, and this face. Yeah, that last face, he's John Riggs, beloved retro gamer. Beloved to me, at least. He has several videos where he grades games. He's pretty fun to watch, and he gave this one game an F.
And not my style of game, and I am sorry to say I'm giving this game an F. If I have to use a manual, or if I have to use a YouTube tutorial video or something like that to play a game, man, I'm not even interested, so I'll put this game as an F, sorry.
Overlord, originally released as Supremacy, Your Will Be Done, prior to traveling to the NES. Just want to point out this has nothing to do with the manga, novels, and anime by the same name, although some video games based on that franchise would be pretty cool, but no. This is entirely different. So the faces I showed earlier represent the enemies and difficulties of this game. This guy looks like Dr. Zoidberg trying out for the Ginyu Force. Then we got Boba Fett back in his punk mohawk days. Then this guy looks like Cabal and Darth Vader had a love child. Kavader? Darth Ball? Darth Ball sounds better. Good thing they didn't have twins. And the most difficult guy would be Ryan Reynolds as maskless Deadpool. Or maybe Kevin Spacey. Or their love child. I gotta go off on a nerd tangent for just a moment. When I first saw these 4 enemies and saw that it was a crazy star system, I was immediately reminded of the 4 Lords of the Diamond book series by Jack Chalker. It's about a government-hired mercenary who implants himself into 4 bodies to infiltrate 4 different planets of the same star system all at the same time. Each book covers the story of one of the clones, although they aren't really clones, and the 4 books all kind of take place at the same exact time. The planets and the societies and the subcultures all vary from planet to planet, plus the covers look kinda cool. Anyway, let's get into the game. So you'll notice you control an arrow and it can easily be moved around with the D-pad, much better than the interface for Color a Dinosaur. But the first thing you'll ask yourself is, what is all this stuff? I mean, nothing is obvious, and this is where John Riggs got it right. Without the manual, you're pretty lost, and yes, you can just look things up online, but try to remember, back then the internet wasn't really a thing when this game came out. Part of the appeal of the NES is the ability to pop a game in and just start playing, but here I'm not even sure how to get started or what any of this stuff means, but there's only so many buttons, right? Well, I decided to go into this thing blind, and it took me a while to figure it out, but I did, so here we go. Let's call this the main screen. The objective is to take over the enemy base, which you visually see on the rotating star map on the top left. Your home planet is the green one on the bottom of all that swirliness. All the other little dots spinning around are uninhabited planets that you and the enemy can terraform and take from each other. In order to beat the enemy, you don't have to take over all the planets, but you're most likely going to get several of them in order to beat that enemy. The easiest difficulty has 8 total planets, and in increasing difficulty there are 16, 24, and then 32 planets, along with a more challenging AI enemy. In the top right is the display for the planet you have selected. It'll show you if the planet has a city, if it's being terraformed, if it's volcanic, or if it's an enemy planet or the people are hungry. Just below that is a button that quickly jumps the view back to your main planet. This is useful when you have a bunch of planets under your control. And at the bottom is just text which tells you alerts like a planet is finished being terraformed, or populations are getting critically low, or the enemy is attacking you. Then we have this menu bar, and this is where most people probably lose interest if they haven't already. So I'll explain the basics of each one of these and how they integrate. This icon of BB-8 asking for a hug is the terraform icon. Select a planet, click this button, and off the terraformer goes, if you have one. The icon of a hook trying to pick up the Lincoln Memorial is the spaceship dock. This is where you can load and unload your various ships, prepare them for launch, or scrap them. The spaceship icon, because it clearly is a spaceship, is where you take ships in and out of orbit or send them to other planets. The stock market symbol is actually a menu where you can see your credits, which is the in-game currency, fuel, food, population growth, and set taxes for each individual planet. Running the taxes high will gain you a lot of credits but will result in dwindling population. Set the taxes too low and the population will explode, resulting in rapidly dwindling food supplies. The magnifying glass is used to spy on other planets, but I never really found this useful since your goal is to attack the other planets and take them over, which is what the skull and crossbones icon lets you do. But before you can rush in and attack, you gotta use the fist to buy defensive and offensive armaments. Unless the opponent has already attacked you, buying these items can cause the enemy to prioritize building up offense and defense. The final icon is the vehicle purchasing menu. This is probably the first place you should really go since you need to buy the atmosphere processor in order to terraform any other planets. Once you purchase it, go back to the main screen, pick a planet, and then click the BB-8 icon, which will send the processor off. It takes some time for the planet to be terraformed, but once it's done, you can send the processor off to the next planet. There's no need to purchase any additional processor. Some of the other craft you can buy will assist with resource management and production, and will do better or worse on certain planet types. Send farming stations to tropical locations, send mining stations to volcanic planets, bend through the desert on a horse with no name, send some solar satellites to generate lots of energy. Of course, you can send these ships to whichever planets you want. In order to do so, you select the ship you want in the dock of the planet at which it is located. If you just bought a ship, it should be at your home planet. Load it with people, food, energy, fuel, prep it for launch, then switch to the orbit screen, pick the ship on the left box, click the other box to get it out of the dock and into orbit, then change the middle box to the planet you want to send it to, then click the send button. Did you get that? Once your ship gets to the other planet, you'll have to tell it to dock, and then you can unload the supplies. The preferred ship for moving stuff around is the cargo ship, and it follows those same principles. Generally, once you send the mining or farming stations somewhere, that's probably where you'll want to keep them unless you're going to abandon a planet for whatever reason. Since different planets do better at producing different resources, you'll want to consider using cargo ships to move these resources from place to place. The menus and interface take a moment to get used to, but once you understand how to navigate, you're all set. And that brings us to war. In order to take down the enemy planets, you'll need to purchase a battle cruiser and arm it with weapons. Then you can send it to an enemy planet and see what you can accomplish. On the flip side, you might consider arming your planets with defenses. If the enemy comes after you and you have no defenses established, they will take your planet without any resistance. So that's about it, folks. This isn't the kind of game at which you can cheat, look up a let's play, or enter codes. You will learn how to play it if you actually want to beat it. Beat it. No one wants to be defeated. So I'm going to dedicate this next part of the video to John Riggs. Let's beat this thing on the hardest difficulty, so our will can be done.
Get away! Run away! My master.
I can't find a place to hide. Get your children to safety.
The evening news has something important to tell you.
I will take all of your lands. I will take all of your planets. It can't be real. Consume your resources. Tell me it's not for real. I want to live. You are mine now. Everything you own is mine now.
Overlord, supremacy. Your will be
Surrender to me.
Your will be done!
It's true, I gave Overlord an F, because it deserves it. However, I'm giving this show an F-. I said what I said. I didn't stutter. As in this show. F. For fantastic!